Hi guys, it's my birthday. No, it's going to be my birthday tomorrow. And I decided to document this journey of doing a 24-hour challenge of reading books. My cat is going crazy. Okay, yeah, cool. Are you sure you want to do that? Cleopatra? Okay. Yeah, so the books are going to be in no particular genre, no particular order, chronology, chronology, right? Yeah, I'm sure. And yeah, she's very chatty. She's very chatty. Oh my god, okay. Um, Lots of antics going on there. There she is. Her name is Cleopatra because she's a freaking queen. Cleopatra, say hi. Meow? Meow? Meow, meow, meow? That's it? That's you saying hi? You want to say anything else? No? That's it? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's the first book is Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. And it is something. So it's a novella. It's just 150 pages, I think. 152. No, that's the acknowledgement. So yeah, it's 148 pages, and I am 64 pages in. By the way, look at this beautiful bookmark. It's by my friend. It's her small business. She does all of this herself, the laminating, taking it from her own garden. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And so I'm on page number 64, and right now it's really intense, and there are quite a few trigger warnings. I don't know if I should spoil it, but yeah, we need trigger warnings for sure. So there is some domestic abuse and general verbal abuse by parents. Yeah, the protagonist is not doing that well, but she is liberated. That is what the book promises. So yeah, let's get on with it. Also, the other book that I'm reading right now is the last book of this series that I have been following the whole year. And it's this cozy murder mystery series. It's by T.E. Kinsey. And I'll link all the names and links below, but well, it depends where you're getting the book. But yeah, I'll link them on Goodreads. How's that? So the last book is called The Fatal Flying Affair. And as you can guess, fatal flying. There's a flying incident, there's a death, they are investigating the death, our protagonists. And yeah, it's a very cozy murder mystery, and it's always giving me winter vibes. It's also a period piece. It's set right after World War II, so it's not exactly modern. So there's a lot of fireplaces and countrysides and yeah, general coziness. This, on the other hand, revisiting this, it's not a period piece, but it's not in the present day. It's somewhere in between, I would say early 2000s. Okay, so before we continued on the 24-hour thing, I'm going to take a long nap and wake up at midnight today, which is my birthday. And I keep reading till midnight the next day. I'll show you guys the timer. I'll keep showing you guys the timer so you know that I'm telling the truth. Although you don't believe me, that is so hurtful. Why would I lie about something like that? Reading is literally my favorite activity. Maybe second favorite. Or favorite. Oh well, okay. And so before we jumped in, I wanted to show the other books that I read in the past weeks, 2 weeks. And it might seem a bit chaotic because the books are like all over the place, and I was just finishing one book and then starting the next. So, yeah, I barely kept a track of it myself. So, let's try to go in order. So, the first book that I picked up 2 weeks ago was The Stranger by Albert Camus. And this is an existential and philosophical novella, if there was one. Translated from French, it is the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. I don't know which year. Oh, it says it was first published in English in 1946. Sorry, 1946. And yeah, so okay, so this follows a guy who is pretty spaced out throughout his life. Like, he doesn't seem to be processing anything. And he just gets involved with the wrong crowd and ends up murdering a guy. And so he goes into jail, and then he is on death row. And basically, yeah, it's a story of that. I won't go into more details and spoil it, but yeah, it was pretty, kind of like, there are points in the novel when you were like, why don't you care more? Why don't you care more? And yeah, that was pretty much what the other characters wanted the protagonist to do too, care more. But the protagonist was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I did kill a guy. Yeah, I guess. So yeah, but it does bring up some good questions. The writing is engaging, for the very least. It's completely, readable in like a few hours because, again, it's a novella. It's like 100 something pages, and I did read it in, I don't know, 4 hours. Quite a lot of annotations there too that I put because there were good quotes in there. So the first line of this book is, I think, the best. It's like as good as opening lines get. Okay, so I'm just going to read it out. Mama died today, or yesterday maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, he doesn't care. I mean, he cares, but then he does not care. It's like, yeah, okay. So after that, I jump straight into The Killings at Kingfisher Hill by Sophie Hannah, who currently owns the right to Agatha Christie's works, name, likeness. I'm not exactly sure, but basically it's owned by her. And she has an uncanny ability to write exactly like Agatha Christie. Okay, so I have read 2 of her books. I think the first one was called 3.5 Quarters, and this is the 3rd book written by her, published by HarperCollins. And yeah, it also has Hercule Poirot in it. But I'll have to say, I mean, okay, there's a lot of humor that Agatha Christie had too. There's the general coziness. It keeps you on your toes. The ending is always like, how did that happen? But it's like, I think anyone would get that, when you're trying to emulate a person who is so renowned, someone like Agatha Christie, I feel like you end up scrutinizing every single line that you write. So I don't know if this is the case with Sophie Hannah herself, but it seems often like each line is packed with too much thought, too much humor, or too much wit. Sometimes lines are too long, they just keep going on, and you were like, wait. What was happening? And then you circle back to the beginning and you were like, okay, let's read it again. So it's like each line just seems like it's wrung, it's like wrung out of all the potential that it could come up with. So oftentimes it's kind of exhausting, and also her novels are much more thicker than usual Agatha Christie mysteries. So there's that. So oftentimes it's kind of exhausting to read it, but yeah, it's rewarding. I mean, it keeps you on your toes. Yeah. So then the next book is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. This book has been suggested to me by one of my closest friends for maybe 2 years. Ever since I've known her, basically, it's one of her favorite novellas, and yeah, so I finally read it. I'm kind of on a classic streak, so I bought a bunch of classics, like a bunch of classics. I was never a classic person. I was more of a contemporary fiction, psychological thriller kind of person. I still am, but I thought giving classics a go. Why not? And Mrs. Dalloway is a novel, a book novel, written in the stream of consciousness, stream of consciousness, consciousness. Oh my God, you know what I mean, right? It's like it's a thought stream. That genre, it's that genre, stream of consciousness. Yeah. So it's written like that. So it's like when you first dive into it, okay, it seems like one sentence is like going on and on and on and on, and then you realize that a bunch of things have happened, but it's inside someone's head, as in they're thinking of it and they're reporting it as it happens and how they're feeling while it happens. That's the whole thought process, and you're reading about it exactly as it is. So it's confusing to get into, but once you get into the flow of it, oh my God, it's like butter. It's like butter once you do. Okay, you just like, hey guys. So there was an interruption because my phone switched off. That's going to happen a lot because I forget to charge it. That's a charming quality about me. I just forget to charge my phone and it switches off mid conversation. So maybe get used to it or don't, but it's gonna happen. And so yeah, Mrs. Dalloway. So it's written in the stream of consciousness, as I was saying, and I'm coming to terms with the fact that I can't properly say consciousness. Look, I said it. Okay, cool. So yeah, once you get used to it, you basically can't stop reading it, because it's like reading someone's diary, but not just reading someone's diary, as in it's like being Edward Cullen, like just knowing what everyone is thinking at all points of time. So yeah, that's what it's like. And there are trigger warnings, I guess, like as always. There is suicide, there's no, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Okay, so it has quite a lot of coverage of mental illness, and a very nice and true portrayal of it, I feel. And of course, given that it's Virginia Woolf, who herself suffered from such aggravating and agonizing mental conditions herself, you would expect that. So there's that. Also, I also changed my dress while my phone was charging. So yeah, that's on to the next book. The next book is just a second. Yeah, the next book is The Art of Purring by David Mitchie. So it's from the series. It's called The Dalai Lama's Cat. It's a fictional tale in which it's from the point of view of a cat owned by the Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, the current Dalai Lama. And this is the second book of the series. I also read the first book, which is just called The Dalai Lama's Cat. This one is called The Art of Purring. And given that I just got a cat, I mean not just, it's been a month, I guess. Also she's playing around, like whatever noise you hear, it's her. It's always her, okay? So it was really entertaining because POV, cat's POV. And so basically this book explores the question, what makes you purr? From the cat's perspective. For us it would be, what makes your heart sing? What makes you smile? And why? So the first book started with her being rescued by the Dalai Lama, and now she is much older, and yeah, I won't spoil anything anymore. Like, the more I say, the more it spoils the book. And it's okay, so this book is largely anecdotal. It's mostly her hearing a lot of conversations, obviously, and putting in her own thought process to it. So yeah, that's what it is about, and it is very entertaining to read, and in a self-helpy kind of way. It's like therapeutic, but you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. So this book is very effortlessly doing that. You don't have to continuously remember what the book is saying. It's like they very neatly even summarize the lessons in the end of it. And yeah, she's kind of like saying that, oh, it was a good month, you know, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened. And yeah, you kind of like get the rundown of everything. So, oh my god, that is what rundown means. People from who watch The Office, you get the reference, right? That is what rundown means. I wish I could go back and tell Jim that. Okay, so this book is by far my favorite book. Okay, and I would encourage anyone to read it, cause okay, so first of all, the genre is high fantasy, but it's you don't realize it's high fantasy in the sense that it's so much about human relations and so much about who we are as people, that it's just the fantasy thing is just, you know, it's just put aside, like, because you relate to it so hard, you know. It's like nothing new is happening. You just, is that too noisy? Is that too noisy? I can tell her to stop, but she won't listen. So, but I can tell her to stop, you know, if it's too noisy. Yeah. So the book, let's just get to the book. The book. You know what? So reading this book for me was like reading a book for the very first time, reading a love story for the very first time, reading any character, any point of view, any narration, any metaphors, any paragraphs, any quotes. It was like doing it all for the very first time. You know, sometimes you wish that you could go back and reread a book, you know. It's like all of those books plus this book. Like, you wish you could read it all over again. And this is like reading all of it for the first time. The House on the Cerulean Sea. No, it's okay. So let me get a good summary of this. So in the front, right, where you get the reviews, it says, I loved it. It's like being wrapped up in a big gay blanket. So simply perfect. And in the end, where, you know, they have the writer's picture and quote or something like that. The writer says that now more than ever we need positive queer representation in stories, and this is exactly that. It's like it's the representation we need by someone who knows how to write queerness in a genuine sense, and not like not like, like, you know what I mean. It's not like queer baiting. It's not like men writing women, straight men writing everyone in between, and like people who are actually from the community not getting a say in it. No, this is it. This is it. This is everything we ever dreamed of. It's here. I also got his second book, Under the Whispering Doors. This, if you have not guessed, 5 stars. 5 stars. 6 stars if I could, but 5 stars. Okay, you can see my cat playing there, right? Yeah, just